Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at, whether you're watching or whether you are listening to this episode of One Door at a Time. This is the 12th episode for those who are keeping track. I am your host, Jason Richardson. I'm the Vice President of the Home Service Companies for Security National Life. And regardless of where you're listening to this, we do appreciate you. And so at the outset of this audio recording, we will ask that you go ahead and hit that thumbs up or that follow button or applicable signs of appreciation. Um, because we try to put these out, especially in this year. Made an effort to put more of these out, and maybe I'll get into why that's kind of important to me towards the end of this episode, or maybe not. Our guest today, though she acts like she's shy, is
Oh gosh,
anything but. And so today I am joined by none other than Miss Joyce Lewis. Joyce, how are you doing this morning?
I'm great. How are you guys?
And so it always it never fails. Everybody can be as outgoing and forthcoming as they want to be, and then anybody says, "Well, hey, we're going to record something," and then everybody gets all nervous. So,
Yes,
um,
yes.
well, there's nothing nervous about. We just happen to be recording a conversation here, between us and anybody else that wants to listen in on it. So, Joyce, as we get started, pretty typical for these types of things. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and then how you got into the insurance business.
Okay. My name is Joyce Lewis. I've been in the life insurance business for about 18 years. I have been married for 29 years to my amazing husband, Jerry. We have two sons, Tavares, 32 years old, Tremelvion, he's 30 years old. We have five amazing grands, three boys and two girls. I was raised by a single parent in a single parent home by my superwoman, Helen Grace Williams, which is my mother. She raised two boys and six girls, and we never missed a beat. And I just want to give her flowers while she's still here. She's my everything. And how I got into the insurance business is I used to play women's softball against this guy named Chris Spano. He told me that he thought I would be a great insurance agent and would I like to change my career. At the time, I had been a bakery supervisor at Brookshire's for 15 years, and I was considering changing my profession. I wasn't sure about the sales aspect of the job, but I used to be a sales representative for Mary Kay as well, so it has worked out great for me.
So, how long did you say that you've been with Kilpatrick and slash SNL?
I've 14 years, but
Okay.
in the insurance business, total 18 years.
Okay. So did you work for another company? And I meant to tell you, we don't want to deride any company, so we'll leave some other companies unnamed. But I'm guessing that you might have worked for that other company before going to work for Kilpatrick then.
I did briefly,
Okay.
briefly, very shortly of briefly. Yes.
Okay. I guess I didn't realize that. I was thinking that Kilpatrick was actually your first
No, sir.
um, company, but nevertheless, you saw the light and came to
I
work
did.
for Kilpatrick.
I did.
Well, it's always that not necessarily discontent with where you're at, but there's always that desire because as I've done this and talked to people over the course of years, even myself included, we find ourselves at a certain situation in life. I mean, nobody woke up, at 9 years old and somebody asked you, what did you want to do what do you want to do when you get to be 30 years old? And they say, I really want to be an insurance guy or gal. Nobody says that. So it's always common in these talks that people say, I was okay where I was at. Didn't necessarily like it, but the opportunity that was presented to you, me, and everybody else just seemed too good to pass up. Um, and it did seem pretty foreign, right? That me, and everybody else were probably all used to going and clocking in every morning and clocking in
Correct.
every
Correct.
afternoon.
Yes. Yes.
And there is some kind of order to that, right? And some people like that order, but it's it's a limiting mindset. Nothing against people that have to clock in and clock out. Say, don't click me off or take back your like button push just
Correct.
because I said that. But you do get spoilt when you don't have a clock to push, right? Because then
Correct.
you could say,
Yes.
hey, instead of me being limited by somebody saying, I only want you to get 35 hours this week, Joyce. I only want you to make this much money. Joyce could say, hey, I need to make a little extra money because I got this birthday coming up. We need a little extra money because I got this trip coming up. And Joyce could go out there and make extra money. And of course, that's one of the beauties of being in the insurance. Now, Joyce, one of the questions, and I hope I don't throw you too big of a curveball today,
Oh,
because
Lord. Okay.
I hope I don't throw you too big of a curveball today because I didn't share this with you. But as I was preparing for the show, I got to thinking that this might be an applicable question to ask you. Because not just you, but myself included, and a lot of other people, especially those of us who have been in this business for any length of time, have gone through that horrible thing called a buyout. Um, and with that buyout, and the part of it that I really want to focus on is I'll get to it in a minute. But in your case, you work for a company, and we mentioned Kilpatrick Life.
Yes.
Um, you heard rumors and all that kind of stuff, and in the background, you get to wondering. You're going to work every day, and you're going, well, I hope the payroll check clears on Friday, and um, it creates this unease about you when you don't know about your job situation. You might have done all that you can do. You might be top in your league or your relative position. But then when there's always this talk of a buyout or change, things get a little uneasy. Would that be a fair statement to make?
Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was very uneasy.
And so we purchased Kilpatrick Life, we being Security National, purchased Kilpatrick Life back at the end of 2019, which, as we're recording this, is over halfway through 2025. So it seems like forever ago. But the part of the question that I want to focus on, and we talk about, and I'll ask you, is change. I think that no one in the world likes change. If you're like me and you attend church service, uh, I sit in the same chair every church service.
Yes.
None of us like change. I mean, we're like, hey, we're like that baby that has that dirty diaper. I know it's dirty. I know it stinks, but it's warm and it's mine. And we get ourselves into this kind of a rut, though, that even though things might not be the best where we're currently at, we start to think, well, yeah, but we kind of know this person, so let's just kind of stick with that. Um, but change is not always a bad thing. I would hope, I'm not going to ask her because Joyce is one to always give her opinions. I don't want to edit it out. No, I'm just joking. Um, but
Just
hopefully,
right.
hopefully overall, the buyout from Kilpatrick being a company standing alone to being part of the Security National family has overall, at least, been a positive one. Uh, so do you feel better about when you come to work today versus what you did, say, 6 years ago, Joyce?
I do. Kilpatrick, everything seemed okay, but of course the change, it was scary at first, but you guys made the transition easy for me, and I'm just grateful I stuck with it and where I am today with Security National.
So, as things in this world continue to change, Joyce, I feel like there's not just in the insurance business, but in other industries. You mentioned that you used to work in a grocery store. I used to work at a grocery store too. I actually, even though it's been all these years ago now, I still go into a grocery store and front cans on the shelves.
Yes, sir.
It's like
Well, it
who
is a
they
habit.
hiring these days, and moving stuff to where it belongs. It's just one of those habits. But I feel like as things change in this world, that we're going to get back to a place to where people are looking to say, hey, I know this is great where I'm at, but I got this fearfulness that my job is going to be on the line come next week. And the hard part about accepting that, Joyce, at least for me, was that I had done everything that I could do. Similar to you and your situation at Kilpatrick. We were top in our field and, had all these awards, accolades. We'd done all that we could do. The problem was other people weren't doing it.
Correct. Yes.
And
Yes.
and and when I say other people, I mean other people at the top. So one of the benefits of working for Security National is that, the people at the top are taking care of theirs, meaning, the company is on financial good footing, always looking to invest in good investments, doing well. I can't say how well because that would be insider trading, but I will say that um, Security National has done well and moved through this storm. We're a publicly traded company, so you could see some of the history of how we do well by going to the stock ticker. But they take care of that part, so I don't have to worry about that. So as long as I'm doing, my part, and
Yes.
we're writing the insurance, we're keeping as much of it as we can, that type of thing. We don't really have to worry about, you know, even though we've done our part, still losing out, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir. It does. It does.
When you think about it in the case of grocery stores, you have all those employees, the stock boys, depending on what kind of grocery store, the bakery, the flowers, the various parts of it. And, they might have profitable centers, but at the end of the day, if the owner of the grocery store doesn't do their job, then they're still going to find themselves without one. And so I guess
That's correct. That's correct.
regardless of your industry, I feel like that um, you might find yourself, even as you maybe randomly got suggested this video or this audio recording by the YouTube or Spotify algorithm, as it were, you might find yourself in a very similar situation or pattern. Maybe you kind of like what you do, but you're fearful of whether or not your job is going to be there tomorrow. But you've never really thought about sales. Uh, and so we're looking for maybe something a little bit different. And so if you are, then I would encourage you to reach out to Security National and one of its managers and just talk about it. It doesn't cost anything to talk about it and see if it's right for you. I didn't mention this earlier, but Joyce is the sales manager for North, I guess, West Louisiana, mainly Shreveport and the outer lying areas of Shreveport. She does have one of the larger staffs for us. Um, and is doing a great job. So hats off to you if I had a hat
Thank
on.
you. Thank you.
But we'll tip the proverbial hat. So sales for all of us is one of those things that again it just comes with this stigma, if you will. Like, yeah, I just don't want to be that sales guy or that sales gal. Um, it's not all that bad, is it, Joyce?
No, it's not bad at all. One thing about what we do, life insurance sells itself. So you put yourself out there, or whatever the people will. You take care of your people, they'll take care of you. So it's not a bad sales job at all.
Well, and what we do is at times very, very rewarding, not just from the commission standpoint, which it certainly has that too, but it's also rewarding from all the people that we help.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we don't write huge life insurance policies for the doctors and the lawyers out there that, we just increased their widows' net worth when they died. We didn't really make the difference as to whether or not they were going to be able to bury their loved one with dignity, or pass the hat around or not. Not to take anything away from life insurance, whether it's sold to the rich or the poor, but
Correct.
in who we deal with is so important, um, in the value that we bring to that customer. Because a lot of times our customers don't necessarily want to go on an automated payment. They want to see their agent. Um, since we're not naming any names of customers, I will say that sometimes our customers can be a little slow about paying said bills.
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
And it's that
Mm.
extra call from Joyce that says, hey, you're going to have to pay your bill or your insurance is going to be out of benefit. That actually pushes them over the edge to finally turn loose of that money and prioritize that as opposed to some of the other things in life. And some of it's not necessarily their fault in the fact that they are on fixed incomes and everything's gone up, except for incomes. And so everything's gone up. And, they have to prioritize and juggle just like many of us have had to do. So, Joyce, one of the things as we're kind of landing this plane that I ask everybody to leave with the listener is a sales tip. You've been a successful salesperson. What is something that you could give to somebody who has maybe been in the business as long or longer than you, or somebody that maybe has only been in the business for a short time that you feel like might be helpful?
For me, what I find works best is when I wake up every morning, first off, I pray and ask the Lord, for good paying customers and to have a prosperous day. I try to prepare the day before on who I need to see every day. Every day. I talk to people all day long, but the main thing for me, um, I have to get up every day, get dressed, fix myself up, and prepare for a good day. When I feel confident about my appearance, it makes it easier for me to approach anybody and talk to anybody and just have a good sales pitch. And normally I do well. Just, when I feel good, I feel like I can take care of my customers better.
You know, um, that's probably a timely tip because when I got into the insurance business, at least from the guy side of things, my manager told me that you don't ever go anywhere without a tie.
Right.
Um, Oftentimes in the dense summer heat in the South, I'd be wearing a jacket, a sports coat.
Right.
And but that was what was ingrained in me.
That's right.
Um, Now over the course of time, I've kind of compromised a little bit as I've gotten older. Because when I started, I was so young, so it was hard for customers to maybe take me seriously. But then as I've gotten older, that's not as big of a deal anymore. But I see people dress any kind of old way when they show up at work.
Mhm.
And I feel like to some degree, we still need to dress for success, as it were. I used to have an agent who I would always pick on because he was the late shift. Like he wouldn't leave his house until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but he might not get back to 9 o'clock at night. And I would ask him, hey, you're not leaving until real late. What's the deal? He said, man, every morning when I get up at 8 o'clock, I get up, I get dressed, take my shower, I get dressed. I
That's
got my
right.
tie on. He
Mhm.
said, because when I call people, I want to feel like I'm the insurance guy. And it's something about that. It's kind of like a superhero getting into his costume.
That's correct. That's correct.
And when you said it that way, it reminded me of what he told me all those
Mhm.
years ago that you're dressing for success. So something like that slips in your mind. If you're old enough, for those listeners out there, and remember the Sylvester Stallone Over the Top movie. So in the movie, when it got serious, like when he like changed, transformed, was when he turned his hat around backwards. It's an 80s movie. What do you expect
Right.
but cheesiness? But I mean, Sylvester Stallone at that time was, kind of box office gold, so they did whatever. But when he turned his hat around, he's like, okay, that's when it kind of transformed in his mind. And when we go out there and we're beat up by being told no, uh, whether it's a collection or whether it's a new sale, it's good to have our focus on by
That's
having
right.
a good outfit and a good mindset leaving out the door. So, good tip there. Now, Joyce, one of the things that um, we have found in the home service side of the business in particular, as things have continued to consolidate, as companies have gone for quote unquote green or pastures out there and different distribution methods than what we have chosen to done here at Security National Home Service. Um, the competition's not as fierce. But what would you tell somebody who might be listening why they should pick, or what do you tell people currently? Because as you are a sales manager, what do you tell people that maybe have never been in the insurance business before, or even are with one of the few competitors that we have out there? What do you tell them to say, this is why you need to leave where you're at and come to work over here?
Well, and this can be a little joke or whatever, but I tell people all the time, our company is strong for one. For two, and this is a joke, I always tell them, hey, we're the Nikes and they are the Buddy Boys. So if you want to come work for Nike, come work for Security National. Um, we take care of people. Like I say, the company is strong. We have very good incentives and bonuses. And I've been on the other end, like Kilpatrick. I mean, it was okay, but of course, the incentives are so much better with Security National. I won't name the other company, but there were no incentives. But with that being said, sometime, people, well, they may be a tad bit more, a tad bit less, or whatever. Well, you want to go somewhere where they pay your claims.
Mm.
And I have been with this company 14 years, and not once have I not had a claim paid. And that's the main thing. You want to make sure that when that time comes, the money is available for you to use for your family.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, whether it's an agent, usually it's the agent that's really thinking more about the price than anything else. And not to say that there's not a tipping point where somebody's just astronomically more expensive than something else, and that's a problem. But, if you're just talking about a few dollars one way or another, most customers are really more interested in one, their agent, and
Correct.
two, that agent's promise. And that agent's promise is only as good as what the company that they wrote that policy with is to back it.
That's correct.
And so, yeah, more importantly than being the cheapest guy on the block is being the guy that's still on the block 10 years later. Um, so yeah, I mean that's a good point. Now you said that we were Nikes, which I'm good with. What was the other option?
Buddy boys.
Buddy Boys.
That's what they call no name shoes.
Oh, okay. Well, see, back in the day, it was Bubos.
Okay, well, we called it that too, Buddy Boys.
Yeah, back in the day, it was just Bobos. But okay, Buddy Boys. No, I think that's a good analogy. That's definitely good. And so yeah, and I would agree with your statement there. At Security National, we are one of the larger companies operating in this space, depending on who you ask or when you ask it, whether we're number two or number three as far as the largest premium and currently writing. And we're growing. We're currently in 18 states. We look to other states to see if we can grow some more. Collected over $24 million last year and are looking to grow that as well this year. And as far as new sales, at the time of this recording, we're up 13% in our life sales. And so things are going well, and that's because of great agents out there across those 18 states. And it's also because of great managers that are part of our team, like Joyce Lewis, whom we've had the blessing to talk to today. Joyce, anything else you want to leave with anybody that's listening or going to listen to this that
Um,
we haven't covered yet?
I guess I would say to anyone that, wants to be an agent, being a salesperson is not a hard job doing what we do. In life, we have to sell ourselves, no matter what company you're with. When you sell yourself, you'll do well as it. Just give it your all, give it your best, and you'll be successful at whatever you do. So that's it.
Good parting words. And so, as Joyce said, if you are interested in contacting anybody here at Security National Life and talking about the opportunities for advancement, opportunities, whether in as an agent or as a manager across the 18 states that we're in, you can visit SNL, or I think everybody already knows the www dot stuff, but www.snlhomeservice.com. You can go to the Contact Us tab and we will route your inquiry accordingly to the right person that can get you some answers to your questions. So we appreciate you for listening today, and go ahead and hit that like button as we try to be more and more forthcoming with these types of interviews. So until next time, happy selling.
Everyone have a great day.